Hey guys, how you doing? Coach Mitch. So the video here you're going to see today is just not a Secret Service super interview breakdown. It's really a conversation, and you're going to hear why my client here chose Secret Service, the mindset he brought into the process, and how this mindset showed up when he was being interviewed in front of this very serious panel. We're going to break down, of course, some of the super interview, how they responded a little bit. But I want you to pay attention to not just that, but also his background, relatable to you, right? Also, decision making and the sense of responsibility that shapes his answers. These are all things that are relatable to you guys, okay? Because this is what most of the candidates miss is the mindset too. The coaching course is very heavy. I'm very involved with you guys to get you past that. That's not the issue. Been doing it for 7 years. That I'm used to. But I want you guys to also think about your mindset, right? Because while I do insert into your answers the judgment and the ownership and commitment, it is more than just passing the interview. It's really about how you approach and what your mindset is. I want you to enjoy this video, watch it in full. If you're busy, you got something to do, go ahead and do it. But come back and watch this video in full. It's very engaging, it's very informational. It helps you out if you're going down that Secret Service super interview path, okay? Hello, everybody. I want to welcome you guys to another awesome interview with our friend. And please state your name, sir, and where you're from.
D'Angelo Brown. I'm from Orlando, Florida.
All right, D'Angelo. Thank you for being here, man. We do appreciate it. So, D'Angelo, you got to tell us, first of all, what federal law enforcement job are you pursuing?
I'm pursuing a special agent position with the Secret Service.
Special agent Secret Service. So, we have to ask you why, like, before we work in your job, when did Secret Service get on your radar?
Shoot, I would say when I was a kid, but
Oh,
it
wow.
wasn't like a couple years ago where I started looking to the position. So just occasionally, but
Right.
uh, a desire came on the inside of me a few months back, and I decided to take that leap and apply, and I'm so happy to make it this far in the process. I didn't expect it one bit. But the urge to be an agent came when I was a kid. That was like one of the first dreams that I had.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah,
Okay, so early on in your career, early on in your life, you decided you
yeah.
want. Wow. Okay, so we have to ask you then, what do you do professionally? Like, it just gives a roundabout. What do you do now? It's like what has been your job since past 3 4 years? I mean, this is the
Uh,
interesting path you're on.
yeah, I mean, funny enough, my life ever since I had that dream when I was a kid
Yes.
has reflected nothing similar to law enforcement. I've been mostly in, like, as soon as I graduated from college, I did a political campaign internship. I did two internships up there in DC. And
Oh,
then from there, I went to the Peace Corps where I was, serving as a youth development volunteer internationally for a couple of years. And I lived over there for a good while, immersed myself in the culture. And then at that point, I grew a liking and a passion for videography and documenting my life because I felt like it was unique. A lot of people wanted to know about my journey. And then, after doing that, people reached out to me and said, "Man, you're pretty good at this. I think you should, start doing it professionally." So eventually, it was time for me to come home anyway. Came back to the states, Florida, where I'm from, and um, I took on videography full time. And at
ah,
no point, once I started doing videography, did I ever think I was going to make the transition to say, "Hey, you know what? I think it's time to apply for the Secret Service." This is just
really?
it feels like a side quest, but like more of a permanent quest to me because this is something. If I go back to when I was a kid, that was the first dream, and I surprised that it came up at this point. But I think it's no better time because
Ah,
honestly ready to transition from being a creative to being more of a professional in this field and
right.
um, taking it seriously. So I think this is it could have worked any better than it did.
Wow. So that's interesting, but we got to stop somewhere because you said Thailand. Now, you and I have a Far East Asian connection in a way. I grew up in the Philippines as a boy from 7 to 14.
What?
Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't tell you that part, I know. but
No, you didn't.
so when you got into the Peace Corps, did you choose Thailand? Did they put you there? I'm curious about that.
Well, I put myself in a very risky position because
Mm,
when you're applying for a organization like the Peace Corps, it's very competitive and people want to go to like the most popular locations, and or you could have them select different countries for you where they need
oh,
volunteers the most. Because Thailand was on my radar and it was a place I always wanted to go to. And it said literally on the application, like, this is like by far the most competitive place to get into. So if you select a country and by yourself without allowing them to put you in the place that they need you,
yes.
you put yourself at a greater risk of not getting in. So I took a bet on myself and I applied for Thailand, the youth development position, and by the grace of God I got in there, and I got on that plane and I never looked back.
Ah, that's a great story. Let's go back real quick to the law enforcement, right? So when I
Yeah.
was a young guy, I always wanted to be a policeman, and I became that, right? I knew about Secret Service, but I mean, you must have had your friends, young friends, talk about policemen, firemen, but here you are, Mr. Secret Service. That's an amazing, interesting. What a path you're on. You really wanted that Secret Service, huh? Nothing was going to break you from that, huh?
Nah, nothing's gonna break me from that. I mean, a lot of people have questioned me. It's like, bro, what are you doing? Like, you're running a business, you're living a good life as a 25-year-old man. You have no kids, no responsibilities. You get to travel, you get to report people. That seems like a dream to you, right? But it's like for me, um, and serving in the Peace Corps kind of gave me a glimpse of what service is like, but it wasn't the totality of what I was looking for. That kind of service was different.
Hmm.
I could see myself serving with the Secret Service because of like, and I told them this because of the trust that they put in their agents and how much responsibility falls on their shoulders. Like I don't think there's no greater mission than that. Like, what, you can't have a bad day on this job,
Exactly, you're right.
and
Good job. That's right.
everything that you do matters. And I'm at a point now where I necessarily don't feel like that with my career and like my skill set, because like it's easy for me. It's a talent. It's a God given gift,
Mm,
and I still feel kind of comfortable. I'm a person that loves putting pressure on myself, love
yeah.
exceeding expectations, and love being uncomfortable. So if I ever feel like I'm getting bored, this is not challenging me anymore, then it's time to transition. And that's kind of been the story of my life of taking leaps of faith. When I first wanted to go to Thailand, when I went to Thailand, that's although when I see the application, I was excited for it. When it was time to actually get on that plane, I was
Yeah.
scared. I didn't
Ah,
really want to go because, mind you, this is a 2-year commitment, and then I gotta leave my family. I'm a family guy at heart. So
right.
as fun as this may sound, um, I'm away from home and nobody else is over there with me. I don't know anybody that I'm getting on this plane with. It's 47 other volunteers. Like,
Right.
it was nerve wracking. But on the other side of that, it turned out to be the best experience of my life. So I can only imagine what the Secret Service will do for me in that regard.
Two things you said there were key. First thing you said, and people listen carefully, he said he loves to be uncomfortable, right? I like that, because it ties into you said too, you're 25, young, no children, not married, but yet you still want more. A lot of guys will stop right there and say, okay, I'm good. I got a house, an apartment, blah, blah. But you're pushing beyond that, D'Angelo, yeah?
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. I know where reached my potential, my fullest potential. I don't even feel like I'm close to it. I've done some great things in my life, and I feel like there's so much untapped, that I feel like only the Secret Service can bring out of me at this point in my life.
I understand. When I told my mom I wanted my law enforcement badge way back in the day, she freaked out. Tell me about your family with this pursuit you're going. How do they feel about that? What do they say to you?
Well, shoot, my mom, she's super hopeful, and she's not surprised one bit. She's like, "Well, I know the type of person you are. You're not scared of anything. You never. I haven't been home since I left from college, so she's like, I knew you were gonna do something that um something along the lines of this, and it
Wow.
goes back to like and she still have like the book that I gave her that what I ordered when I was a kid when I first had interest and I told her about that dream. I
Yes.
showed her the book that I bought. She brought it back to my attention. She's like, "Hey, here's the book that you first gave me," and this just points back to that desire that God put in your heart early on, and this is just coming back around full circle. So my mom on that end, she's like super hope. She's like, no, even in this process where I'm like, oh mom, I just passed the interviews. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. She's like, no, 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 you're gonna become a special agent. Don't doubt yourself one bit. My
Wow.
cousins on the other hand, they're like, oh man, you sure you want to do this? It's risky. This is a scary business. Like your whole life is pretty much going to change like your routines. Like you're no longer going to be have like flexibility in your schedule.
Right.
You're creative, like you're entrepreneur. Like that's a
Mm,
whole different world. And thankfully, I understand their viewpoint, and I think it's a thing that anyone should consider if you wanted to change into that lifestyle because there is a sacrifice. It's not all glamorous, and that's something that they were telling us while we were there. Um, for
mm.
the interviews, and they were showing us the orientation. It was like, hey guys, as, you see the movies, you see the videos, and what's portrayed about the Secret Service. But if you're not okay with being bored, if you're not okay with, you know, not having your headphones on and not having your
Mhm,
device on you and being
mm.
able to stay alert, then this may not be the position for you because it's not for the weak. It's
Yeah.
really not for the weak. And I don't consider myself that. And I'm ready for this, man. I'm ready for this task. And my girlfriend, on the other hand, she's a nurse, and I kind of have to start preparing her for this too. Because like, thankfully, we've met each other at this point where we're going through the process, and she has a demanding job in an emergency department.
Mm.
So wait, our time is limited in itself already. So
Right.
imagine me going in this position. So she's completely aware of it. She supports me. She's like, "Oh my baby's about to be special ed." She's like, "Oh wait, that means you're gonna be away from home a lot." She's like,
That's
"I don't know about all that." So, but this is the person I am, bro. I've, I've lived this life since I left home from university, and I'm gonna continue to stretch myself and go where God leads me. I'm not gonna operate out of fear. And
mhm.
you hear a lot of pros and cons about it, but I don't operate off of that. Of course, I have a balanced perspective of it, and I know what I'm walking into. But if I feel a desire to move forward and
Mhm.
blaze that path, I'm gonna continue.
Love that. Love that. That's a really good overview of family, how it can affect you for sure. So I'm gonna ask you, like, so what about Secret Service resonates with you the most? Just the most. What is it?
Mm, choose the most. Um, I like protection. I like the fact that every day there's a new task, there's a new ability to grow yourself and stay sharp. Like you can't, there's no
Mm,
like really rest day. Like
yeah.
every day you have to be alert because any donation, the United States,
Yes.
um, the stock market, all of that stuff could go down on your hands. And I don't want it to be on my watch. And I don't see any other like agency that has that kind of motto like the Secret Service does. And it's kind of it's kind of incredible. Like I get the scare tactic of it. Maybe that's just a recruitment thing, but I truly believe it. And how I've seen certain Secret Service agents that I've met, in person, how they operate. They really love their job. They take it seriously. And everybody
Mhm.
that I've met said, like, man, this has been one of the this has been the greatest career I've had. I've been able to travel the world. I still have a family, have 3 kids. Like these are, real life agents. And they told me their stories and what's possible. And you hear all the negative stories about it. But,
Right.
when you hear that from other people who've been in the service for about 20, 22 years, you know, it encourages you to, move forward and want to explore a new career. Because honestly, no matter your interest and my interest, I would never know what it's like until I'm actually an agent, you know?
Correct. That's right.
And um, I'm excited to step foot in and learn as much as I can. Preferably, I make it to the point where I'm in training and Um, I have a long career in law enforcement. I just don't think it's a coincidence that all of this is happening right now. And the Secret Service took an interest in me, said I was like extremely qualified for the position.
Right.
Um, like when there was a guy standing next to me this past weekend where I was down there in Miami, he was like, "Man, we're all just kind of asking each other like, oh, what you here for, UD or SA?" It was just a uniform division or special agent, and you
Right.
know, he has an. And I was just hearing him talk to another guy about his experiences and how well traveled he is, and he went to LSU. Very intelligent guy, and I believe he had some law enforcement experience as well prior to applying. And he said to me, he said, "Man, oh, you're applying for special agent." I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh man, I'm a uniform special agent position. They want me." I'm like, "They didn't
Whoa.
want you, bro. Like you seem more
Wow.
qualified than me." And he's like, "Oh man, that's pretty dope." So it's like you never know what you could bring to the table. And I'm happy that, Secret Service took the initial chance on me to allow me to get this far in the process, and I pray I continue to move forward. But just to think that I don't have any prior law enforcement experience, I've had a unique travel experience by being abroad and living
Right.
there, learning the language too. Always keeping what's the academic record.
Hmm.
Never been into trouble, so that stuff I guess they look at too. It's not just, the X's and O's of what you think they're looking for. They're looking for standout candidates too. So I was grateful to hear that. And I told them, I'm surprised they chose me. So, it's very humbling, and I'm excited to see, how far I go.
I like that. So, D'Angelo, you applied. They said, "Okay, come in for the interview or get ready for the interview." What'd you do then? We had the interview set up. How did you and I meet?
Well, honestly, in all transparency, when I was first looking up this position and what it entails and how to get prepared after applying on YouTube. You were the first face that I've seen, and I was just binging the videos and other similar people who was making videos about what it means to be a special agent. And I was just looking out different agencies at the time, but I like how detailed you were, and yours was very informative and just wanting to help people. When I saw you had, and at that point, I have already applied and I heard back from them, and just the way, the type of person I am, um, I'm grateful to have been in a family where they prioritize like academics
Yeah.
and making sure like I'm always on my studies and prepared. But I may not be the smartest guy, but one thing about me is like, and my friends know this, and my mom will know this, my family, my dad, whoever knows me, they know like I'm not going to show up not prepared for
Oh,
something. And for me, as I was like watching your videos and hearing you say that, hey, this is no regular interview, this is something you gotta be prepared for. And I've heard that before, and I researched and they said that.
right.
And I don't I didn't feel comfortable. And there's just really some people probably showed up this weekend and didn't go through training with you and probably still passed. But for me, I'm like, okay, this guy, he's had experience working with applicants, and your track record speaks for itself. And I spend money on sometimes shoes, clothes, um, subscriptions, the countless things that we all spend money on. And
Right.
for me, I'm like, let me invest into preparing for this interview. It's worth it. If this is a career I want to go into, I don't want to walk in there and potentially not have pulled apart my stories and tested myself with somebody who's tried and tested applicants like you have. And, I appreciate your candor and your willingness to help me. And we had such a unique set of circumstances. You and I wasn't ideal, but we were able to make it work. And I'm so grateful that, I found your channel when I did on YouTube, because I believe you're a godsend. I believe you're helping a lot of people, not just for the Secret Service, but
Yeah.
other applicants who you look out for it when they're seeking for different agencies. So I appreciate your work, man. I know a lot of others people do as well.
Appreciate that, man. I really do. Yeah. I put my whole heart and soul into it for sure.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us about the situation that happened to you with them? Can you tell us about that? Like, we
Yeah,
got
I
to share.
mean, it was just crazy, man. At first I didn't think I was going to the. Oh, I got invited to the expedited event
Mhm.
this past week in Miami. I got notified that I got invited of it a while back, like 2 or 3 weeks prior. And
Yes.
when they sent me the original email and everything, it said I was invited, I was confirmed for it, and they told me the dates. But and nowhere in the email I didn't see like where it was gonna be local, where I had to report to, like my time, my report
Right.
time, the address, the link to even like make sure I was like officially confirmed for it.
Yes.
So I was just like, okay, let me just wait a few days. Let me wait a week. I'm sure somebody's gonna reach out to me, and nobody did it. Nobody didn't. So I'm like, okay, like, oh, this doesn't sound right. So I text you, and I'm like, no, they should reach out to you. And then I'm like, okay, let me. Actually, I called the Orlando field office. They directed me to Miami field office. So I get on the phone with a special agent, and he thankfully gave me a number that led me to the applicant portal, like human resources, where they like help applicants. And then at that point, it was a Friday, like Friday evening. So then I had to wait to call her because it was like Martin Luther King Day that Monday. So I had to wait to call her that Tuesday, and it was already like coming up on like 5 to 7 days left until it's time for all the applicants to report this expedited event. And I'm like, I haven't heard anything back from them. So I
Right.
called the lady. I called the lady and she's like, "Oh, you haven't received anything?" I said, "No." She's like, "Okay, let me if you haven't received anything by tomorrow, reach back out to me." Tomorrow
Right.
comes. I didn't receive anything. So I call her back and she was like, "Okay, like I think I'm gonna have to call uh, s- you know, upper channels and then get you manually registered because I think there was just a lag in the system with my application specifically. I don't
Yeah.
think they were doing anything malicious.
Right.
Um, so eventually they manually confirmed me for the event, which I was happy for. They sent me emails following up. And then I had a trip coming up, this past weekend heading to Denver and with my girlfriend and everything. It was her birthday, we are celebrating. So I'm like, okay, I'm manually confirmed for this event and they let me know that. But I'm like, okay, still don't have the logistics about what's going on. And there's like
Oh,
literally 4 days out,
yeah.
and the event is on Monday, starts Monday with the APAT, and then the interviews on Tuesday. So I had reached out to them, let them know that, hey guys, I appreciate you knowing the with me, and I don't take that lightly. I just want to let you guys know I'm trying to do my due diligence here. I'm super interested. I'm not trying to bug you guys, but I just want to make sure I'm not
Exactly.
missing out on anything.
Right.
And I didn't get a response on that. And at this point, I text you. I'm like, hey, this is kind of weird. It's the weekend right before the event is on Monday, and I'm like, hey, any other applicants you're working with, have they heard back from them? And you were like, yeah, oh yeah, 9 out of 11 of the people that I'm working with are
Mhm.
heading to the event. And I'm like, wow, I guess I'm of the two that's not, and that's kind of weird. So I'm this point, I'm like, I'm a little worried because I'm like, dang, I've been investing so much with you, and then
Right.
me and you had talked and said like, all right, let's at least put a pause on our sessions,
Yeah.
um, so until I hear back from them. And we
Right.
at that point, you and I only had one session to
Right.
prepare,
That's
and we paused. So by the time it was that the weekend of prior to the event, I can only bank on that one session that we had,
right.
and then you were super busy, which I don't fault you for because you're a busy guy, and I haven't heard back. So I'm like, I'm at that point where I'm in Denver, I'm
Yeah.
not expecting to go at all because if it's Saturday, Sunday, and the event is Monday, and I haven't heard back, in my mind, I'm not going. I'm coming back to Orlando on that Sunday. I had a great trip, and that next morning, which is Monday morning, which is officially the first day of the APAC,
Yeah.
and I haven't heard back. So Monday morning, I'm at my girlfriend's crib. I just happen to check my email, and I get a response from them, and they're like, "Hey, um, sorry, just not getting back to you. If you can, we would like for you to make it out to the expedited event
Oh my.
um, on tomorrow." And I'm like, tomorrow? Like Miami? Then
Wow.
they give me all the details in that email. It's like, oh, this is the time, this is what we need. And they said, if you can make it out tomorrow, we'll do everything in one day. So it's like, unlike everybody else who probably had ample amount of time to prepare or know where they were going and probably
Right.
had more sessions with you,
Correct.
I still only had one session with you. And then on top of that, I still got to go and do some shopping to try to be as prepared as possible with my attire, to then hop on a bright line train that same evening. to
Jeez.
make it there the next morning.
Yes.
So, you and I go back and forth. He said, "Hey man, let me know what you decide because if I'm being honest, I didn't know I didn't feel prepared. Like I just going back to what I said before, and how
Right.
I like to be as prepared as possible for things like
Sure.
this, and
Yeah.
not that you could fully be prepared because you don't know what's coming, but like I want
Right.
to at least train and um, work with you as much as possible to dissect my story, so like I can pull from that, that mental memory bank of my life stories.
Correct.
And, I didn't have that luxury, unfortunately. So I'm like, oh, they like, all right, if you can make it, like, get back to us before the end of the day so we will know. So I call you, I call my mom, and my girlfriend's right there with me. They was like, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? My mom, you encouraged me. You said, man, I think you can do it. My
Yep.
mom said, I think you can do it. And my girl said the same thing. And I'm like, do you think you can do it? And I'm like, I think I can. I don't want to rely on myself. I know God's going to help me through this position, but it's like I just don't
Right.
want to. I don't want to fumble. 'Cause this could be risking it all. Like, do I? And in
Yeah.
my mind, I'm thinking, do I wait and go the normal application time route where eventually I'll do my APAT, and then a few weeks after that I'll do my super interview. A few weeks after
Mhm.
that I'll do my security interview. Whatever that timeline is usually spaced out. Um,
Correct.
outside of the exception of like the expedited um, processing event. So I'm like, do I risk it and just go not really being as prepared as I want to and mess it
Hmm.
up and having to wait to apply again,
Right.
or do I just like go the normal route, get more of those sessions with you, so I know that I feel comfortable when it's time to report to for the APAT or and then the interviews. So in
Right.
that moment, I took a second to pray. I'm like, oh, what you want me to do? And shoot, all I could feel was like, no, this is your opportunity. You got to
Oh,
go. You got to
okay.
go.
Okay.
So I go and I surprised myself. I surprised myself, man. I didn't expect it, and obviously, I already had applicants there going through the process. I was a little late, of course, so at that point, it was like four other applicants who were at the same pace as me who got like hit up last minute and had to do the APAT super
Hmm.
interview and all that in the same day. But I got lucky, man. I really got lucky. When I got down there, I did do my APAT the first day,
Yeah.
and I passed out with flying colors, glory to God. But I guess they were like really busy with all the other applicants, so they were like, "Hey, we're gonna put you in a hotel, and we're gonna schedule both of your interviews for that Tuesday or that
Correct.
Wednesday." And I'm like, "Oh shoot, that gives me more time,
Right.
to prepare." But then at the same time, they're like, "Oh no, you got to fill out this SF-86 so that we don't want you to leave Miami until you do this, so you can do both interviews the same day." So it's like as much as I want to prepare, I still got this to do. But I was able to in that time where I had to complete the paperwork. I still had ample amount of time to hop on a call with you and
Yes.
to get like one last session in which total two sessions to prepare for the interviews. And thank God I was able to get through both of them.
Man, that's a story. You talk about first of all, you had support from your family for sure, right? And me too. I
Yeah, 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 yeah.
right? But then you improvise and you adapt it. They said, "Come," you went down there, you got ready, bought your stuff, interview, told your girlfriend, "I'll see you later." A couple of days. I mean, that's improvising up to the oomph degree. You just say, "Okay,
Hmm.
I'm going to do this." That was really great. And for those of you guys who don't know, usually I interview online on Zoom. But D'Angelo he wanted my help, so we did a phone interview. Right? We did, right?
Yeah,
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 Tuesday. So I really believe in my team members and like D'Angelo to do this because I knew he could do it. I knew he could do it. And we talked about what, like 10-minute talk about that, if you could do it, and I knew you could, man. You were so together, you're so focused. I have faith in you, man. I really did, and I'm proud you did that. I'm proud you said, you know what, I'm gonna go down there and do it. I'm just like, man, I'm glad he did that, because
yeah. I was telling my girl, I said, just imagine on that couch when I was calling you and I called my mom and I was telling her if I said no.
oh
Just
gosh,
imagine, like, I would have just missed out on like, my blessing. Not to say that I wouldn't have gotten through the process, but like, I probably would have delayed my time getting into, possibly the Secret Service because I didn't believe that I could, possibly do it with like the preparation I had at that point and not being able to answer things based on my life stories, because that's pretty much what it is.
Correct. I gotta tell you, and last year for 2025, we had 38 team members all pass the interview. This year you're number six already for January. So Secret Service is looking for qualified people, not anybody, guys. Qualified people like this gentleman here. I gotta ask you though, D'Angelo, and it's my first time asking you. Did you feel the prep helped you in this interview process? Of course, you can't tell
Oh,
us any questions, of course, but do you feel you got
yeah,
some
yeah, yeah.
help there?
No, yeah, you definitely prepared me, and I'm so grateful that you were asking me the right questions about you know, and what I think you helped me the most with is like, okay, you got some interesting stories. This is what you're saying. You got some interesting stories. You got a great background. I love your talent and experience. I think we need to pull from that, but you
Mhm.
got to change your mindset and like how can your stories, how can you make sure you mold them in a way where when they're asking you a question, you're answering like you're a special agent,
Right.
not just a student in university when this experience happened, not just a volunteer when this happening, but you got to
Exactly.
think like you're a special agent. How are you reacting to this on the instinct? How are you making quick decisions
Exactly.
with this information that you're given? And I think you helping me dissect that and then switching my mind frame. I was able to answer those questions a lot easier, and they just like rolled off of my tongue because
Yes.
not only did I know my stories, not and you know what's funny? I think
Yes.
a lot of people need to do that because some people just roll into interviews
Mhm.
thinking like, "Oh yeah, I know my story."
Mm.
Sometimes you forget your story.
Yes.
Sometimes you forget your story, and then like it's not until like a guy like you comes around, you give me like certain homework questions, and then you ask, and it seems straightforward. Like, oh, I should be able to answer this, but when you actually start typing, I was like, oh snap, what happened?
That's
Like,
right.
wow, like how can I summarize this up into something that like they would approve of and make the wording right and correct and so make it suffice. And that stuff is difficult. Like molding your story and building it and
Right.
prepping yourself, it sounds easy, but it's not. But it is extremely worth it, I would say, dissecting them and thinking about um, what I want to convey and
Right.
how I want it to be received.
Right.
That was like the most important thing that I did, and I'm happy. I'm so happy I reflected on that because I truly believe like if you weren't giving me some of those questions, and you weren't drilling me and questioning me, even with the limited amount of time that we did, gave me a foundation to build off of. And I had to like, okay, let me ponder about this. There's something I need to think. There's something that they're gonna try to, yeah, I have great stories, but they're trying to see what I extract from that. What value can I apply from this story to me being at one point and perfectly a special agent. And
Right.
that was like the most valuable thing that you taught me, and I'm extremely grateful that I was able to pass those interviews.
Man, I'm very honored for that. Thank you very much. We had a good connection too. You came on the interview so strong, then you throw in the Peace Corps and your life experiences. Oh my gosh, man, you had a lot to offer though too. I tell you before, you have a lot for this process. I said this guy's gonna be strong. I knew it. And sure enough. Now I know you can't talk about the questions at all, but the environment, were they professional to you, rude to you, nice to you? This that I mean.
Oh man, they surprised me with that, and um, everybody was super professional as you expect to see service. They're gonna do everything in decency and in order. But when I sat down, of course, um, you know, I was about to get ready to button. I don't know how bad I was about to button my suit jacket. So I'm buttoning as I was walking up. I'm like, okay, hurry up and get in. I want to walk in with my suit jacket, but the guy saw me doing that on the agent. He said, "Hey man, you're good." He's like, "You're good," and just him doing that kind of disarmed me in a way, and like he just wanted to bring
Yes.
peace and calm to the situation. As soon as I sat down, and he's like, "Hey, D'Angelo, you're okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." He said, "All right, man, this is gonna be a chill interview. We're gonna have
Wow.
some fun." And like
Right.
him saying that, like really allowed me to let loose and to feel like they weren't trying to get me, and
Right.
they didn't want me to stumble. Like just based on the energy that I felt, it felt like they wanted me to do my best so I
Good.
could get this position.
Good.
And they gave me ample amount of time to answer my questions, and they told me like, "Hey, don't feel pressure to answer right away. Like, if you need us to repeat a question, if you need us to repeat a question, say that, and we will
Good.
do that. If you need time to think, you can do that." And by just me being calm and relying on the training, I was able to get out of there without scratch. It seems like, and I didn't stumble. Like um,
Nice.
it was pretty seamless, and I'm grateful that we prepared the way we did.
Nice, man. Nice. I like to hear that. So, D'Angelo, we want to know what's next. What's next in the process?
Well, I went on there to track my application, and it said I'm 60% done. I mean, when I walked out of there, and of course, as soon as you get done with super interview and security, they
Right.
said you like sit down or whatever. And I thought I was really good to go. They was like, no, 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 you got to wait for your results. I didn't expect to get the results right away, and I guess that's how they do the expedited process because I guess they're gonna know. So I waited for a bit, and then it was like, all right, you passed both interviews. They pulled me outside and said that it's like you passed both interviews. What's next is you got to do your medical screening and then your drug screening. So,
Easy.
and then I went there to track my progress, and it said like those are coming up next. And then I believe I heard one of the applicants say like I think within a month, probably. I don't know how accurate that is, but they're gonna ship us off to DC to do our polygraph.
Yeah, it's about accurate. About 30 to 45 days. That's right. That's right. That's you're
Yeah,
really they're right about that. You know, D'Angelo, one more thing. Thank you for first of all, thank you for giving us time today. I want people to understand, what it's like, the mindset you got to have, someone who's actually going through the process, But I want to ask you this, D'Angelo. If you talk to people who watch the video and who are serious about Secret Service like you are, what advice would you give them? And take all the time you need. What would you give them for advice, D'Angelo?
man. Obviously, make sure this is something that you really want. It's gonna come with extreme sacrifice, and I know you hear that word and you don't really allow it to resonate with you. But this is not just an ordinary job. It's prestigious, but it's for a special type of people. It's gonna require you to want to get up and wake up and enjoy this job, even when it doesn't feel enjoyable. And I think the process in itself, and I'm happy they have it the way they have it. And it's kind of unique right now because they're trying to expedite things, so it doesn't really feel real as far as how they're speeding it up. But usually, I think their timeline of how they do things is pretty great. I know
Mm,
that allows them. In a way, I know they wish they had it differently, but in a sense, they don't because they get to find out who's really serious about the position and what it takes. It takes patience. It takes like a person that like, all right, no matter what I got going on, I'm gonna stay locked in with this process. And you can easily get aggravated. Like if I going through what I went through this past week of not getting responses, and my girlfriend even said this. She was like, "Hey," and I don't think they were doing it, but I thought it was a good point. She said, well, they weren't responding to you, and then literally a day of where you're supposed to be there, they hit you up. I think they're probably testing you. Like in the sense, this is the nature of the job. Like
right.
you're gonna have to be able to move on short notice, even
That's
if you're enjoying yourself, to go and prepare for your duty. And they wanted possibly to see if you're going to show up and perform at your best, not just perform, not just show up and be average, but be
right.
excellent. And I thought that was an interesting perspective. And, one of the things that, along with what you told me, my mom, like, I think that could possibly be the case and let me not show up with a whole bunch of excuses in my pocket
Right.
and play Mr. Victim, like, oh man, I didn't get
Uh,
ample notice. I'm not ready. Like, no, no, no. They don't care about that. And I'm not
correct.
going to bring that because they want people. I'm pretty sure everybody, in a sense, every applicant there had some excuse, had some a thing that they felt probably could have hindered them,
Correct.
and that they probably won't get a notice or just anything that went wrong in the process, but they still made it there and they gave it their all. So I think with this process, you got to stay dedicated, and this is something that you say you really want. This process is going to lead you out to see if that's what you mean. And no matter if it was 8 to 9 months long, I think I'll still be in the process. I'm thankful that they selected me for the expedited event. Um, which means like prayerfully they speed things up. And I'll be in there way before the end of the year. And I'm just extremely grateful that first of all, if this is something that you want to do,
Mm.
um, you got to live a clean life.
Oh,
I think one of the things that they said
yes.
um, while we were sitting doing orientation, they said, "Man," and I told my cousin this on the phone, and I s they said, "Hey, if you smoke weed,
Mhm.
um, this past year at all, just get up and walk out."
Bro.
Just something
Wow.
like that
Wow.
could,
There we
you know,
go.
just
Serious.
X you off. That just shows you how serious this job is, and they
Very
take it
serious.
seriously.
Get up and
And
walk out. Wow.
just get up and walk out. We're not even gonna like, don't even get to the polygraph and try to lie, but we're gonna find out regardless. If you lying now, we're gonna find out about it.
Wow.
And that that lit up a spark in me. And I'm happy that I never, had an interest in, doing drugs.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm thankful that my mom, kept me on a straight and narrow. And I was always into, you know, extracurricular activities, into sports where I never got into anything criminal.
Right.
And at no point did I think I was gonna like try to shoot for something like the Secret Service, but there's a huge benefit of keeping a clean record and not doing
Good.
drugs.
Good
And
statement right there. Yeah, I like that. Okay.
there's a
Yeah.
huge benefit because at some point in your life, if you want to pursue a career, and let my life be example, like I didn't think I was going to be doing this at any point. That was just an initial dream I had when I was a kid. There's a
Mhm.
huge benefit of being staying on the right path and not following others and leading your life the way you're supposed to.
Wow.
And I'm extremely grateful that
Wow.
I'm able to make this transition, and prayerfully, man, just prayerfully, I can continue to make it through the process. But no matter what, I'm grateful to have made it to this point because
Yeah.
to even have um pass both of my interviews, that's an accomplishment in itself. Like a lot of people don't make it past that point. And
Exactly right.
I hear that that's probably like the hardest part of all
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
So prayerfully everything else goes well, man.
Oh, this is awesome. D'Angelo, man, you're hear about your journey. It's really inspiring for me too. I'm past my days, but I mean, for people getting into this and thinking about it, my God, man, you really laid out a lot of stuff to think about. But it really would encourage me if I were younger too. I would this is a good interview here. What he says makes sense, and I can do that. So, you guys, like D'Angelo said, if you can do it, if you have a clean life, improvise, right? Be focused, you can do this too, But you lay down some good knowledge there too. And what I see from you, you improvise, you adapt a lot. While I was on the phone with you that day, you were like, I don't know, man, you're leaning more towards going. You seem really focused on going. I was so proud of you to say, I'm glad he's going to do it. I couldn't tell you to do it, otherwise you might be mad at
Of
me, right?
course.
So I
Of
said,
course, of course.
but I
You
said,
did say that.
man, right?
Yeah, you
It's
did.
it's one of the rare times I did an interview with anybody without using my computer. That was kind of weird too,
Yeah. It
right?
was, we didn't have much time. We just got it done. And I'm so grateful for it.
Yeah, man, your story's awesome. I knew your story would be great when I first started talking to you, but I just want to tell you, man, on behalf of myself for sure, and everybody out there listening, we're all very happy you're here to talk to us, and we're very honored for your time today, D'Angelo. I want to tell you thank you for that sincerely.
No, thank you. Thank you, Coach Mitch. You deserve all the praise, man. And I know a lot of people are going to be extremely grateful for what you have done for them to get to that point in their service and to even make it all the way through interviews and preparing them for what it's like to potentially be an agent or uniform division, wherever you want to be within the service or different agencies. I think you're a valuable asset to, federal community. And just people who wanted to better themselves, and just your experience and your professionalism through it all. As soon as like I reached out to you, and just even when I had interest, you responded back extremely fast, and I was surprised by that. And but you take this very seriously, and I'm extremely grateful for it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you, D'Angelo. I do. Yeah, I love doing this, and I love seeing champions like you rise up and do their thing. It's champions are awesome to watch growing and do their thing, man. It's an honor to be here, man. So thank you, D'Angelo. You have a good day, man.
Thank you. You too, Coach.